Ever wonder why being positive is so damn hard? We're told to look on the bright side, to keep your chin up. But sometimes it feels like we're swimming against a tidal wave of negativity. Today, we're diving deep into the struggles of being positive. Let's explore why it's so tough and what we can do about it. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason, and you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. A catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. Now, if you'd like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to keep tripping up over it because it's a brand new email, but hopefully I'll get it right. Anyway, folks, welcome to episode 60 of the Catalyst Podcast, The Struggle of Being Positive. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty, let's define positivity. All right. It's more than just smiling and saying everything's okay. It's about cultivating a mindset that allows you to see the good in life. Even when things are tough, it's about resilience, hope, and gratitude. Here's a quote from an unknown source. Positivity is not about denying negativity. It's about choosing to focus on the positive aspects of life, even in the face of adversity. But let's be real. Positivity isn't always a walk in the park. Sometimes it feels like we're fighting a losing battle against the forces of negativity. I, for one, have been feeling that a lot lately, especially in the past few months. My mom passed about this time last year, and it's really kind of hit me hard in the last few months. So that's one of the reasons we're talking about this right now. Right? One of the biggest challenges in being positive is the constant barrage of negativity. From news headlines to social media feeds, we're bombarded with stories of tragedy, injustice, and despair. It can be hard to maintain a positive outlook when the world seems to be falling apart around us. Here is another great quote. The world is full of people who are trying to drag you down. Don't let them. Absolutely right. Do you ever find yourself, somebody will say something about you and you take it to heart? That was me most of my life. And actually, my son's kind of going through a challenge with that. So to be there for him in a way that I didn't have happen for me, is a unique look, and hopefully I'm being a great guide. But let's continue on here. When it comes to negativity, another challenge, or positivity, another challenge is the pressure to be positive all the time. All right, we're often told that we should always look on the bright side, but that's simply unrealistic. It's okay to feel sad, angry, and frustrated. The key is to acknowledge those emotions without letting them consume you. It's one of our emotions. We should be, we should face it. And sometimes we want to push it down. But it's okay to be there. Let's not just live in it. So here's a story. Alex, successful entrepreneur who always had a positive outlook on life. But after a series of setbacks, Alex started to doubt himself and his abilities. He found it difficult to maintain his usual optimism, and he often felt overwhelmed by feelings of anxiety and depression. Alex realized that it was okay to feel this way, and he sought help from a therapist. With support from his therapist and loved ones, Alex was able to overcome his challenges and regain a sense of positivity. Now, therapy had a negative connotation a long time ago. And even for some of us still, therapy is a dirty word. But as we look around, especially those who are younger, they're really accepting and embracing it. And I've always been one of those who try to do a self therapy, but I'm trying to fix myself with the brain that's been broken. And that doesn't work out. But therapy is something that I've started to do, whether it be with men's group or in a one-on-one setting and dealing with one of these apps like Better Health. There's a lot out there, and don't negate it. Don't negate it, because there's a lot of positive things that can come from it. So, how can we overcome the challenges of positivity and cultivate a more optimistic mindset? Grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper. Here's a few strategies. All right, here we go. Number 1, practice gratitude. Every day, take a few minutes to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This can be anything from your health, your relationships, to the beauty of nature. Every morning before I get out of bed, and every night before I put my head down on the pillow, or once I put my head down on the pillow, I say thank you. Thank you for the things that have transpired in the day. Thank you for the things that I have, whether they big or small. I'm just thankful for them all. Sometimes, some people it might seem like some people have more than we do, but that's okay. What we have is what we have, and it's ours. And if you want something different, then that's a whole other podcast, but let's continue on here. Challenge your negative thoughts. And this is one thing I did, especially on my beach walks. When negative thoughts creep into your mind, challenge them. Ask yourself if they're really true, and if there is a more positive way to look at the situation. There will be some times where I'm in my car and these thoughts are just racing in my head, and I will just scream, "Stop it! Stop it right now!" And sometimes you have to do that to shake yourself out of that system. But recognize them and be aware of what happens. Be aware of, hey, how did I get here? What thought led to a thought that brought me here? All right? Surround yourself with positivity. Number 3, spend time with people who uplift and inspire you. Limit your exposure to negativity and unfollow toxic accounts on social media, folks. Please, 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 please. When I'm not on the beach listening to the ocean and all that stuff, I'm doing my walks, and I have a mixtape of Wayne Dwyer and Louise Hay and these motivational people, Gary V, all of them just pouring this positivity and inspiration in. And there's a bunch of them on YouTube. There's great videos, and they have like things with like Les Brown and things like that. Use them. Do an immersion. You know how people do, they want to learn a language, and they go to a country and they just get immersed in it. And by osmosis, they start to learn. It's the same thing. Go on YouTube, go on, on TikTok, check out Catalyst Motivation with our reels and our blogs and our podcasts, right? Let's move on. Number 4, take care of yourself. Your physical and mental health are closely connected. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, and exercising regularly. Let me repeat that again. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you are eating healthy foods, and make sure you are exercising regularly. Finally, find a creative outlet. Express yourself creatively can be a powerful way to cope with negative emotions. Try writing, painting, playing an instrument, dancing, right? Here's another quote from an unknown source. Happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. I think that was a quote from somebody. When I found it, it said unknown, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Why don't you send me a message at catalystmotivationpodcast at gmail.com and let me know. All right, let's move on. So the power of positivity. Being positive can have a profound impact on your life. It can improve your relationships, boost your health, and increase your overall well-being. When we focus on the positive, you're more likely to attract positive experiences and opportunities. Now, here's a great one from Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in ever failing, but rising every time we fall. Let me read that again because it didn't sound right. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. I like that. Remember, positivity isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the good, even when things are tough. It's about resilience, hope, and a belief that things will get better. So, the next time you find yourself struggling to be positive, remember, you are not alone. You are not alone. You really aren't. I can honestly say you really are not alone. There are so many of us here that are going through challenges. Everyone faces them. And it's okay to feel down sometimes. But by cultivating a positive mindset, you can overcome adversity and create a more fulfilling life. Remember, positivity is a choice, so choose wisely. All right, let's give you a takeaway here. So, for the next week, here's what I want you to do. Practice gratitude every day. I want you to write down 3 things you're grateful for each morning, whether it's on a paper, on your phone, whatever. This simple exercise right here can help shift your focus towards positive and improve your overall mood. And another thing, go onto YouTube and find some of those motivational reels. They're fantastic. All right. Well, folks, this is another episode of the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. And my name is Jason. And you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. A Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. If you'd like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to episode 60 of the Catalyst Podcast. We'll see you next time for episode 61. Go be great.